If your organization manufactures or distributes chemical products, then you must provide safety data sheets for each unique product or blend. These legally required documents provide essential safety, handling, and emergency information for chemicals. In the US, safety data sheets follow OSHA's Hazard Communication Standard, which aligns with a globally harmonized system. However, other regions have their own frameworks, such as the European Union's CLP and Canada's WMIS. Here are the steps you can take to successfully write or author safety data sheets. Step 1. Gather the necessary data on your product, including chemical properties, hazards, toxicity information, and physical health and environmental risks. Step 2. Identify the proper regulatory framework that your SDS must follow, whether OSHA, CLP, WMIS, or others. Step 3. If you're creating a safety data sheet under OSHA or a similar framework, you'll need to complete each of the 16 required sections, covering a wide range of essential information. Step 4. Review your safety data sheet to ensure clarity and accuracy, verifying key information to maintain safety and compliance. Step 5. Keep safety data sheets up to date and accessible, ensuring that employees, buyers, and other relevant stakeholders always have access to the latest version. Writing or authoring a safety data sheet doesn't have to be a complicated process. Let's take a quick look at ERA's SDS authoring software, which streamlines the entire process. Be sure to comment on any questions you might have and subscribe for more chemical management and health and safety insights from ERA.
To get started, please navigate to Module SDS Authoring Material View Product Simplified. This is the path in the application when you can create or edit existing products, create blends, as well as generate reports. Once you have your product added to the database, then you are ready to generate the SDS or labels. To do so, select your product and click on Generate Report button and select the SDS. This will open a new pop-up that you can reload your template. If a template was already assigned and you need to change the template, you should first select another template from the drop-down list and then click on Reload. It may take some time for the system to attach the template and evaluate the GHS hazards and populate the different sections of the SDS. In the report generation section, you can pick the watermark for your preliminary document by clicking on the drop-down list. You can review your preliminary SDS and adjust different sections, and once it is finalized and no further changes required, you can change the preliminary to final and click on Save and generate your final document without any watermark. In Section 1 Details, which correlate to the Section 1 of your SDS, you can see the information that will be displayed in Section 1. Product code, description, and synonym is displayed according to the data entered on the product specification level. However, these can be customized in the alternate name field. Supplier information like address, emergency phone number, information number, and fax will be shown in the grayed out field. If you wish to add the statement to this section, this can be easily done by clicking on the Add Custom Statement.
You can generate the SDS by clicking on Generate SDS. On the report parameter setup, you can set your parameter. For example, the language that you would like to generate the SDS, apply transport information as table, and display regulation from the specific country, and then click on Generate. This is an example of generated SDS. In Section 1, the system populated all the information based on the selected supplier. In Section 2, the system lists the classification, triggers, when evaluating the chemicals against the GHS criteria. The required GHS elements like pictogram, signal word, and hazard statement and precautionary statement will be shown. Section 3 will show all the chemicals that have been contributed to the hazards of the mixture. The phrases in section 4, 5, 6, and 7 are generated based on the classification of the mixture. In section 8, the permissible exposure limit is populated with the regulatory values from our master chemical list. In section 9, the properties above the lines are those calculated by the system, and the ones below are the client-defined physical properties and usually populated by the user. In section 11 and 12, the system will populate the information by leveraging the toxicological and ecological data, like lethal concentration LC50, lethal dose LD50, and EC relevant endpoint. Section 14 provides the transportation information on UN number, packaging group, and proper shipping name. Section 15 will show any environmental regulatory information applicable. Section 16 lists any other information you may want to add to the SDS, like HMIS rating in our example.
Section 2 correlates to the Section 2 of your SDS and allows to see the classification of your product. You can see all the GHS hazard classification by clicking on All Classification. In this grid, the first column indicates the GHS classification from your product level on the GHS hazard classification tab. Second column will show the classification if they are forced on your template. Third column is ERA classification based on the hazards associated to the ingredients. And last column, classified current, will be the one that's shown in section 2 of your SDS. The classified template column takes priority over the classified ERA column. The classified product column takes priority over both the classified template and classified ERA column. If you wish to add or remove any classification from the section 2 of your SDSs, you can easily check or uncheck the hazards under the column classified current and then click on Save. You can export the grid to the Excel file by clicking on Export Excel. And similar to section 1, if you wish to add any statement to this section, you can click on Custom Statement. By clicking on Pictogram, you can have the pop-up open, which show all the GHS pictograms that will be shown in section 2 of your SDS. On the column Evaluation by Chemical or Physical Property, you see the chemicals which contribute to a specific hazard classification, or the physical property which contributes to the GHS hazard, like flashpoint. Further to the right, under the phrase column, you can find the hazard and precautionary statement codes which correlate to each GHS hazard classification. Section 3, which correlate to the composition information on the ingredients of your SDS, allows you to see the chemicals and their percentage weight. Values from mean and max column will be shown on the generated SDS. If you do not agree with the pre-populated ranges from the template, you can set these ranges and then reclassify the product under the GHS based on the modified ranges simply by selecting one of the options in the drop-down list to reclassify the product. By clicking on Edit, you will see whether a chemical at a given concentration contributes to the hazard classification for the final product. Any chemical which has this symbol under the second column will be shown on the ERA-generated SDS. If there is H, then the chemical will be hidden in the section 3 of the SDS. However, still will show in section 8 and 15 with the assigned regulatory values. You can easily export this list to the Excel. You can also see the regulation value assigned to the chemical in the chemical option. You will be able to export the permissible exposure limit values for the chemicals, set up which registration number for the chemical, and see the custom regulation applicable to any chemical such as California Prop 65. If you wish to add any custom statement to this section, you can click on the By Product option and add or edit custom statements. Hazard detected column identifies which chemical contributes to the overall classification of the mixture. Verified column shows you the chemical which has been verified by ERA regulatory and research team using different sources. If a chemical is not verified, a red X sign will be shown beside the chemical and a warning message will be shown on the section 1, and a pop-up will be displayed when generating the SDS. You should contact the ERA-EHS tech support team to verify the chemicals for you. Section 4, which follows the first aid, you can use the filter capability on top and all the statements will be shown at the bottom of the page. You can filter for another language, for example French, and then all the statements will be shown in French. You can hide the filter by clicking on Maximize or unhide the filter by clicking on Restore. Phrases that are check marked will be displaying on the generated SDS. You can see all available statements by selecting all statements. In the last column, you're able to see the type of a statement like template statement or ERA suggested statement. You can add or remove a phrase by checking or unchecking the checkbox on the leftmost column. Click on Add Phrase button to create a new phrase. Click on Copy as Phrase button to copy over a phrase to modify that. Click on Edit Phrase button to edit an existing phrase. If the phrase is grayed out, you cannot edit that phrase. You can reset the section to the template setting sentences and will be shown on the generated SDS. All the functionalities explained for section 4 will be identical on the following sections. Section 5, which follows the firefighting measure on the SDS. Section 6, which follows the accidental release measures on the SDS. Section 7, which follows the handling and storage on the SDS. Section 8, which follows the exposure control and personal protection on the SDS. Section 10, which follows the stability and reactivity on the SDS. Section 11, which follows the toxicological information on the SDS. Section 12, which follows the ecological information on the SDS. Section 13, which follows disposal consideration on the SDS. And Section 16, which follows the other information on the SDS. There is one extra functionality, which is the hazard rating and HMIS, that you will be able to click on this button and assign the HMIS and NFPA similar to the hazard rating on the product level. Section 9, you see all the physical properties that will be shown on your generated SDS. On this page, you can filter for a desired property group such as volatility or flammability. You can maintain the translation for your properties and you have the option to pull the physical properties from template, which only display information from physical properties tab on the template, from product, which only displays information from physical property tab on product level, from template, and then from product, which display information from physical property tab on the template, and then from the product if missing information at the template level, and finally first from product and then from template, which display information from physical property tab on product and then from template if missing information at the product level. We recommend to select the fourth option. The visibility of physical property field is controlled through the template. Similar to previous section, if you wish to add any statement, you can do this by clicking on Custom Statement. You can also select the property order by moving them up and down simply by clicking on up arrow or down arrow. Section 14 follows the transportation on the generated SDS. If there is just one suggested UN number, the ERA will apply the UN number to your product And this information will be shown on the third step. The information from the third step will display on section 14 of the SDS, and you can edit, add, or delete the UN number from the grid if you wish to make any manual changes to the transportation section. To view more UN number applicable to your product, you can navigate to the first step by clicking on More UN Number. You see more available UN numbers by product or by chemical that you can pick from. For example, you know that your product is a paint and it is corrosive. Then you can click on UN 3469, paint-related material, flammable and corrosive, and click on Save. This will update the third step and you will see the new UN number populated. There is correlation between certain GHS hazard classification and the UN transportation number. If your GHS classification in section 3 has been modified, you should navigate to the second tab and click on the Reset Risk from GHS Evaluation button. This will update and populate the two grids below and will suggest the new set of UN number by product or by chemical on the first step that you can navigate to the first step and pick the new applicable UN number to your product line.
In section 15, you are able to see the regulation which has been selected on your template. You have the capability of searching the regulation by the regulatory body, for example, California, and then you're able to see the regulation which falls under the California regulatory body. Similarly, you have the capability of searching your regulation based on the country, for example, United States, and be able to see the regulation under the United States. If you wish not to show the percent weight of your chemical in section 15 of your SDS, you can simply click on Hide Chemical Percentage Weight and then click on Save. Then the chemical's percentage weight won't show in section 15 of your SDS.